Hi guys, Jane here, and this is one of my Stories of My Stories segments where I talk about a book that I've written, kind of what I learned from writing it. It is, if you're a reader, it'll probably teach you a little bit about like where the story came from, so you might be interested. If you're a writer, I'm going to tell you about what I learned, what I would do differently if I was doing it again. And today's book is The Wolf's Pregnant Bride. And this story follows a girl named Sophronia. She is at a house party in the Regency. She's American, not quite an heiress. She's got some money, but they're visiting Europe. She meets a man at a party, and during a complicated situation, becomes pregnant. When she goes to reveal the pregnancy, she finds out that the father is engaged to be married. No, is already married. Just got married to somebody else. He is the son of a marquis, and he is also the son of a pack alpha. So the pack alpha, being concerned, of course, that this baby is potentially a werewolf pup and his grandchild, and all the reasons that make sense, asks his younger son, who is not going to inherit anything, if he will marry Sophronia instead. The son's name is Nathaniel. And so they end up married. She does not know he's a werewolf. And shortly after the marriage, werewolves start dying, so there's a little bit of a mystery in there. And I'm not really going to say much more about the story than they fall in love. She learns he's a werewolf, and they go try to figure out why werewolves are dying, and she has a baby, and it's a Regency romance. Now I did learn a lot. This was my first Regency to write, and also my first paranormal. I'd read a ton of Regency, but I'd never written one, and this was a lot of fun. And it was also fun paranormal. Now my paranormals are a little different than typical. Number one, I don't write alpha males. My guys are generally not total jerks. Nathaniel was a little bit of a jerk, but only because he really didn't understand why anybody would be crazy enough to sleep with his brother, who's an alcoholic. And that's kind of how they got in this mess to begin with, is his brother was drunk, and yeah, it was a bad situation. So anyway, Sophronia ends up married to Nathaniel, falling in love with him. And it was just very different because it's the family man aspect of him, like, that she loves. It's not that, oh, he's a jerk and I'm attracted to that, or he's big and tough and, has a title and all that. It's just, he raises dogs and he loves his dogs. And when they have a baby, he loves their baby. And it's just, I don't want to say it's sweet, because this is not sweet. There's some hot stuff, maybe too hot, according to some of the reviews. I didn't think it was overly spicy, though. And this is another element I wanted to talk about. Mixing genres. I do write historical paranormal, and this is the first book, but I've written several others. It can be a tough balance to balance the tropes, because paranormal tend to be very hot, and historical tend to be not so hot. So to find a nice balance where if paranormal readers are reading, they're not offended, or I'm sorry, they like it and there's enough spice, but if historical readers are reading, they're not offended by too much spice. So I did learn that a little bit, or I in the reviews I noticed that was kind of a division. There were some people who were really surprised that there was spice in it and were happy about it because they were paranormal readers, and they were worried there wasn't going to be spice. And then there were people who obviously were historical readers who were like, oh my gosh, this is disgusting. There's too much. So it's hard to strike a balance. And if you're doing a cross genre, I think that's something to be aware of, is that it can be hard to find a good balance between what your different groups of readers expect if they are very different. This cover on my paperback is not the same cover on my Kindle. I originally put this cover on the Kindle version as well, and it didn't sell well. And I was talking to a writer's group, and they said, well, this is not, this looks very historical, but your market for this book is not really historical. Your market is the paranormal, and they have the naked man chest. I put a naked man chest on there, the book started doing better. So that's another thing to keep in mind if you're doing a cross genre, is who is most likely to cross over. Historical readers are apparently, according to the group, and I think they're probably right about this, a lot less likely to be like, oh, it's a historical and it has a werewolf. Okay, I can do that. I feel like it's more going to be the paranormal readers who are like, okay, I'll give that a try because I love the werewolf part. And then they can see if they like it. And if there's somebody like me, I like both. I like the paranormal. Now, one thing for me is I prefer like urban fantasy. I started writing paranormal because it was hard for me to find paranormal romances I really could get into and like. A lot of them that I read were very graphic sexually, and I don't, I have, that wasn't for me. Like, I don't mind a nice steamy bedroom scene, but like some of them it was just like bedroom scene after bedroom scene, and it was like too much. Too much. And also, like I said, I don't care for alpha males, and it seems like paranormal, that is a very big thing. A lot of the guys are jerks, a lot of the guys are really aggressive, and I guess that's part of the paranorm or the werewolf thing. For me, the werewolf thing is more of a setting issue. It's more of a how we work, how we make a society. It reminds me more of like an urban fantasy as far as the way people act. And this, the werewolf is more of a, is very much a setting issue of why characters have to do the things they do and how it changes them. It does affect the relationship a little bit, but as far as like he finds her smell attractive type thing, and there's smell and stuff going on with that. But it's definitely not your typical paranormal romance. But if you want to read more paranormal romance but are having trouble finding something because you don't like the really tough guy, bad guy type males, this might be worth checking out for you. One more thing I did learn too, and again, this was my first time, so I had a lot to learn. Initially, I had it titled The Werewolf's Pregnant Bride, and I was told in the group, the same group that told me about the cover not working, that wolf is more paranormal romance or shifter, whereas werewolf is more urban fantasy. So by putting werewolf, people would be expecting something a lot different than a romance, and my romance readers would not, be dragged in because they see werewolf and that's not really what they're into. They like wolves. I don't really necessarily know why there's that distinction, but there really is. So that's another thing. If you are new to writing, it's good to know your genre and to know what readers are expecting and what they're looking for so that you can market it to them properly. I do think this book is a lot of fun. I think people who read it generally like it, but it is, important to get it into the right hands and to make sure that the people who are going to enjoy it find it. So that is The Wolf's Pregnant Bride. It is available on Amazon. It is in Kindle Unlimited. I do not yet have an audiobook version of this, although I would like to in the future. So if you would like to check it out, you can read it on KU for free. Also, keep checking out my my YouTube, because now and then I do run a 5-day Amazon promo, and you're welcome to pick it up for free. I just want people to read it. I think it's fun. I love it. So I would love to hear any recommendations from you of books that are similar, books that are not hardcore paranormal that have like beta males. I want the doctor male. I'm not into the biker. I'm not into the sheriff. Give me the country doctor. I don't even want the surgeon. I want the country doctor or the teacher. That's the kind of that's the kind of man I am interested in, and what I tend to write as my romantic heroes, because that's what I like. Like, a man with a baby ain't nothing sexier. So, beneath is the comments, the social media, the likes, subscribes. Show you one more time my cover. Oh, and the cover, quick note, was done by a gentleman on DeviantArt. I paid $75 for it. And I do highly recommend DeviantArt if you're looking for something that needs to be like hand drawn, that you can't just get a picture in Photoshop. So I do recommend DeviantArt as a site for getting covers if you're looking for something unique. This cover ran me $75. I don't regret it for a second, and I did keep it on the paperbacks because I still think it looks gorgeous, just maybe not attracting the right crowd on the Kindle Unlimited. All right, guys. Jane out. Thanks. Bye.